Hello there, I'm Daz. Welcome to this, the fifth and final video in my walkthrough of Forgotten Seasons. So, I am once again standing in Vardencan Gallery. I'm just about to enter Spring's Symphony and finish off this endeavour. If I go to the world map, you'll see that I am in Runoff Caverns. This is actually Anniversary Edition content. Runoff Caverns is not too far from Lost Valley Redout. So the objectives at hand. I need to disable the Conduit of Spring and also collect the Mask of Spring. Okay. And once I've done that, I will be able to take on the dungeon boss. His name is the SKY ORCHESTRATOR. I'll also be heading up to the surface to construct the Dwarven Horse as well. Okay. I'm going to be attacked by a Spriggan very soon. But hopefully I can just read this note on the dead mercenary first. There we are. Kill the Spriggans that control the obstructing routes. I won't bother taking that, but there is also a note on the Dwarven drone fly. An interesting piece of kit. I should have read that before placing it in the inventory. It basically gives a buff to stamina regeneration and poison resistance. Very useful. So there's some scrap lying around, as you can see. I'm not going to be concentrating on that during this video. We have a locked door here, which we cannot access at the moment, but we will be heading in there later on. It's actually necessary to travel through the entire dungeon before we can get back to that point. Is that it? I was expecting... Ah, there we are, another Spriggan. Better deal with her. Right. So, there are some sundry items dotted around this chamber if you wish to explore. Dead dwarven spheres and the like, and quite a few ingredients. But I'll caution you to be careful, because on a practice run I decided to have a look around and I dropped into this area, and once inside I discovered that there was no way out, so I was forced to reload an old save. So be wary of that. It's badly designed. Right, I was hoping to get the other wolf to head in this direction as well, but he's staying in there. Actually, I'll just go to the local map so you can see how things stand. Off to the east, we have a chest. Right there. And a dwarven sword. That seems to have been there every time I've been through here, so that must be a guaranteed loot. I don't think there's anything here apart from scrap. Yeah, a scrapped sphere. So we can proceed into the next major area. And there could be another wolf and a spriggan, I think. Annoying creature. Okay, so there we are. This map looks more complicated than it actually is. There's only really, excuse me, one way you can travel around here. This would be a really great place for people who want to increase their bunny kill count. They seem to be everywhere. Right. Right, so one of these was a boss lady. The Blooming Spriggan. There we are, Blooming Spriggan Matron. She has a key that we need to enter the locked area that I mentioned earlier. So, before we move on, there is a chest around this corner. An open chest. Nothing too valuable in there. And down here is where the real good stuff is. So we have a chest. And here we have the Dwarven Dronefly. So he sits in your inventory right there in the miscellaneous section. Stamina regenerates 30% faster for 90 seconds and resist 50% of poison for 90 seconds. And all you simply do is activate him and he'll just buzz around until his time elapses, at which point he will go back into your inventory, and I'm pretty sure that you can just use him indefinitely, time after time. Which is going to be quite useful in Falmer infested dungeons. Right. So now, rather than heading out, which would be in that direction, we are heading back down here to get hold of the spring mask. Hello, fella. He's looking very robust and regal. I don't think there are any more enemies, but there are some loot items that I'll take a look at before picking up the mask. So there should be a chest somewhere around here. There it is. Daedric sword. So there, the drone fly has expired, and there he is back in my inventory. Right, I could have sworn there was another chest somewhere. Ah, here it is. Hardly worth the bother, but as it is random, you may find something better in there. So there we are on the map. Now we can grab the mask. Our final mask. Dwarven Spring Visage. It's quite confusing that it has a different name depending on which menu you're looking at. But I'll take a look at it now. So there we are. Increases health by 25 points, increases light and heavy armor skill by 5 points. Now once you, or should I say, if you slot this into the Dwarven Crown, it will obviously improve the armor rating, and the enchantment is improved as well. It improves to 50 points of health, and light and heavy armor skill increased by 10 points. There is also a 10% health regen effect as well. So I'm actually gonna deactivate the Dwarven Crown from my quest list because I'm not going to be completing that during this video, but I will be constructing the horse. So now that we have the crown and the masks, I should just mention, you can actually wear the masks as they are. As you can see, I'm wearing one right there. Or you can just travel to any forge. You do not need the Dwarven smithing perk. And all you need is 2 leather strips, and you can place any one of these 3 visages or masks into the Dwarven Crown, whichever one is going to suit your build. If you want to switch your build, you can change whichever mask you have slotted into the crown, simply return to a forge and use another 2 leather strips. So simple as that. So let's get out of here, face the dungeon boss, and get out and build our Dwarven Horse. So there's going to be some mercenaries and a mage or 2 out in the main chamber. In which case, I'd better arm myself.
Someone there?
Okay, I'm not going to bother searching these guys. So you'll notice there is actually, if I deactivate the horse quest, I still have an objective to shut down the Weather Witch, but there is no map marker whatsoever, no waypoint. But I can tell you that this is where you need to head, despite there being no waypoint. Now this boss is actually quite tough. It's not going to appear so here because I have quite an overpowered character. But if you have a more balanced playthrough, this could be a bit of a problem. Yeah, my two-handed sword is doing about 400 damage and it took quite a few swings. I'm only playing on Adept, and as you saw, he actually can cause quite a bit of elemental damage. So the loot he carries is the main thing. Ward of the Seasons. So this Dwarven armour provides 10% resistance to fire, frost, shock and poison. So I'll take that. And that's not all. We have a book here called Turn of the Seasons. I'm actually in two minds whether to actually read this thing or not. So I'll bring the information up on screen. It's very small. So I'll try my best to read this. It basically gives situational buffs depending on what armour type you are wearing and on the weather. So Turn of the Seasons gives barter prices are 10% better when raining, and then with a full set of light armour equipped, stamina regenerates 5% faster in clear or clement weather. 10% chance of a critical hit that does 10% more critical damage with bows when overcast, or with a full set of heavy armour equipped, armour rating increased by 10% when snowing. So yeah, that's very situational, very complicated, and to me that actually sounds like something which may cause the game to crash whenever the weather changes. So I'll probably do some reading on whether this is a good choice, but for now I think I'm just going to leave it sat on one of the bookcases at home. So all that remains now is to construct the horse, deactivate the crown because I'm not going to be doing that during this video, just deal with the horse. Now I think I mentioned in one of the previous episodes of this playlist that if you actually don't want the horse following you all around Skyrim, after you've put him together, simply do not mount up on him. The quest will complete and he'll actually just stay here. So if you do decide later on in the game that you want a Dwarven Horse, he'll be waiting right there for you. So there we are, folks. I hope people have found this useful, and thank you for joining me on this little adventure. Bye bye.